All right. I think we're all here. It's just a typical AA meeting. So it says, as our amazing old timers come to the stage, they already did that, so we'll skip that part. All right, let's review our meeting format. So each of the old timers here will share with us for 5 minutes, and there's a clock right here in front of the stage to help us keep track. Does everybody see that clock there? Everybody see that? Right down in front of all points of the stage, there's a clock. Not that we don't trust that you'll stop in that amount of time. Those of us young timers been on the receiving end of all y'all. Now it's our turn. Kidding. After each speaker finishes, or after the 5 minutes is up, all of you here will help me thank the speaker when you see this. This. So speakers, when you hear this, it doesn't just mean it's time to sit down. It does mean we love you too. So, very good. Thank you. At this point, I would like to acknowledge the many old-timers who are here with us tonight, but who will not have an opportunity to share. I know we all join in expressing our immense gratitude for the many years of love and service you have given to our fellowship. Thanks, Bob. Thanks. You are indeed shining examples of how it works. In special attention to my own sponsor, Ron S., who is celebrating 50 years today back home in Massachusetts. Ron, I love you, and I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for you. Thank you. Now it's time for our first speaker. So we'll first hear from Kathy H. from Dade City, Florida, with 51 years. Ma'am? Yes. Pam will lead you.
My name's Kathy, and I'm an alcoholic from Brooksville, Florida. I guess so.
Kiss you.
Okay. My home group is Ridge Manor Group, and I sobered up in a young people's program in Houston, Texas. And my sobriety date is March 15th, 1974. Yeah? And I was 18 years old when I sobered up. This is overwhelming. I was at the bottom. I'd almost gone to jail. I'd been put in a mental hospital. I lost my job. I was homeless. And my mom pretty much deposited me in the program and said, you will get sober or you'll have no car, no house, nothing. and she saved my life, basically, by being tough and making me stay in the program and learn and grow. And I did my 90 meetings in 90 days. And more than that, really. I lived in the program. And I come from like 3 alcoholic fathers, and then I did have a crazy Al-Anon mom, but she did get in the program right before me, and she learned tough love, and it saved my life. So I have 51 years in AA and 9 years in Al-Anon. I followed kind of the same path. I married alcoholics, and and my life fell apart, and I decided when I was on my daughter's laundry room floor that it was time to go to Al-Anon. So I was still sober, but I grabbed a hold of the program, and I knew I needed to do everything I could to stay sober. So I went to Al-Anon meetings, I went to AA, I volunteered in it was intergroup, and I went into the jails, and I helped at the halfway houses. I just put myself back together again, and here I am. It's cool. So this is my 4th international. I was actually in Denver, and I was in Montreal, and New Orleans. And I've had the privilege to be sober. I raised 2 daughters sober. They're both sober also, and raising families and successful. And I pretty much lived my life sober. I went through marriages, deaths, financial problems, and I'm just grateful I had this program to get me through all of it. And I have definitely received the promises of this program, and my family is grateful that I'm here and that I'm working my program, and I thank all of you guys. It's amazing. This is overwhelming. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. It was wonderful. Our next speaker is Dave F. from Florida, 51 years.
Hello, friends. My name is Dave Foles. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is January the 7th, 1974. My home group is a Pasco Big Book group in Hudson, Florida. I brought my notes with me. I just... Hey, wait a minute. I don't want you applauding all the time. I only got 5 minutes to talk. So you can cut that out right now. I got sober in a small rural town. Some of the meetings I went to was on the north shore of Oneida Lake in upstate New York. They have a reputation there of chaining people to trees. And and there's nobody left but me that can confirm that, but that's what they did. The old timers told me so, and so it was. There's one of the things that I learned from up there. I hate having my back to my wife. Now stop applauding. When COVID hit the States, there was a meeting called Sober Buffaloes that I went to, and I want to tell you a little bit about what I learned about that Sober Buffaloes group. And they were named after some of the things that buffaloes do, and one of them is they stay in a herd close. They keep the young and infirmed in the middle, and that's what we tell new people: stay in the middle. They're should, if they're not infirm, they ought to be, and stay in the middle, like the buffaloes. We also tell them, come on in closer to us. Come on and do what we're doing. Don't be out there. That's where you get picked off, out there and away from us. And thirdly, when there's a storm coming, I'm told they walk into it, because as they walk into it, it passes by and it ends fairly soon. And that's what we do with new people. That's what we do. Stop applauding. Just what I figured. Nobody'd listen. So those are the things that we do, and I think we do well to remember the buffaloes. And I'll be going upstate New York for a couple of months, and I'll be going to the Sober Buffaloes again. The last thing I want to say, well, I think it is. The last thing I want to say is that, this is where the notes come in. Well, I've been around AA a little while, and if you're sober 51 years, you're getting up there in age, and I'll be 80 this month, and I usually say in a meeting at one time or another that I do not want justice for my past. I do not want any justice. Justice is what I deserve, and I don't want that. And AA has shown me how to live and not get that. Secondly, I want mercy. I want mercy. Mercy is what I get that I don't deserve, and I want mercy. I also want grace, and I've been given mercy and grace is getting what you don't deserve. And that's what I've gotten here in AA. Now you've got 3 seconds to applaud.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much, Dave. Now we'll hear from David S. from Stockton, California, with 56 years.
I'm an alcoholic. And all you guys up there wearing these crazy shirts, thank you. Thank you very much. I got here 1969, in February of 1969. I had just gotten out of the drunk tank. I was 27 years old, and I had no thought of going to Alcoholics Anonymous. And a friend of mine came down. I was living in Bakersfield at the time, and he came down and he picked me up at the jailhouse, and he started preaching to me. about this thing called Alcoholics Anonymous. And Alcoholics Anonymous to me was really anonymous. Anyway, he kept going on and on and on, and I didn't want to hear it. And I thought, he had been a drinking partner at one time. He'd been my roommate, and I'd been in the service with him, and he just wouldn't stop. And I finally agreed to do it. I'd go. And what I really thought of him is he had become, and I hope I don't offend anybody, but I thought he had become a Jesus freak, And so I learned a little bit longer that he was not that at all. Anyway, he picked me up and wanted me to go to this meeting. It was on the best side of town at a beautiful church. And I wasn't too on top of going to church in those days. Anyway, I got there and the meeting was at 8 o'clock. Now, I got out of jail at 10. That was the longest day of my life, waiting for him. And then, of all things, he never showed up. He never showed up, and I've been here ever since. I do know what the subject was, and that's all I know about the meeting, and it was a serenity prayer. And I kind of grabbed onto that a little bit, accept the things you cannot change. Because, you all know that when we first get here, we want to change everything, including our life in the past. And we know that's impossible. You're stuck with what you got, and I really have no complaints. I've had a good life. I live a good life today. I have 2 boys. One of them never had a problem. The other one does, and it's just the way it is. It took me a long time to accept it, and I call my sobriety son. He's just awesome. And he got married, a while back, about 10 years ago, and I thought, he's doing good. And what the hell does he do? Marries an alcoholic woman. But she's got 8 months right now. And I think the wrong way lots of times still in sobriety. I thought, this chick ain't got a chance. Boy, has she proven me wrong. I have a plaque that somebody gave me to put 50 chips on, and I put it in my little office, and she went in there and she saw it. And she said something like this, when you die, I want that. And I said, no, you got to earn your own. And she's doing it, I think, I really feel good. I'm really grateful about that. I have a lot of things to be grateful. I have a great grandson that I love dearly, and he's always coming up with good ones. And he looked at me and he says, Grandpa, he says, how come you've been married 3 times? And I said, well, because I always pick mean women. He says, I don't think so. I want to thank everybody. Like I said earlier, got started in Bakersfield, and I was there for about 18 months. Moved to San Jose for about almost a little over a year. And then I got a call to go to Stockton. A friend of mine had moved up, and he wanted to go in business. I'd gotten a license, and I did. And things got good for me, and better and better and better. I'm not going to say they've always been that way. At about 20 years, I bought a 5th. I was going to cash it in, and luckily I had the right friends around me. I've often said the right people have always been there at the right time since coming to Alcoholics Anonymous. It's just that simple for me. I love all of you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you, David. It's great. And now please help me welcome Bob W. from Edmonton, 52 years, and a good pal.
I got a clock here? I don't have a clock. I need to go in front of one with a clock, or I'll get into trouble. I'll stand here. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Bob, and I'm an alcoholic. I had my last drink on January the 31st of 1973. When I got here, I had no idea that I needed you people and no intention of staying with you. I said, I'll give this thing 3 months to get the monkey off my back and some dollars in my jeans and hit the road again. And 3 months became, or 3 years, 3 decades, and now 52 plus years. When I get up in the morning, one of the first things I do is I pick up my phone and I go to the Grapevine app. And it tells me this morning that I'm sober 52 years, 5 months, and 5 days, or 19,149 days. But it always makes the provision that it's one day at a time. That's all I've got is one day today. So I don't like clocks very much. It reminds me of the General Service Conference, which I struggled with it mightily, but we managed. And I'm learning to be a tad bit more disciplined in long-term sobriety. But I still have an issue. My wife says it takes me 5 minutes to tell my name. So, and that's the only regret I have tonight, is that she's not here with me. My wife is also 52 years sober, and God willing, if she puts up with me for another couple of months, we will celebrate 52 years of marriage in September. And which might indicate to some of the rules-based people at AA that we might have broken the rules. But 52 years ago, there weren't quite as many rules. We were told by people in Saskatoon, the long-term wise people, when we said we were going to get married in early 1973, that they said, no, don't, wait a couple of years. We went to see some friends, another friend that's sitting in the 50-plus section tonight, and told them what our story was, and his wife said, Bob, are you going to go to AA? Yes. Penny, are you going to go to AA? Yes. Go ahead and get married and stick close. And we did. Well, she had 5 months, I had 7 months. That's 12. That's good enough. That's good enough. It worked for us. And it's been a life of ups and downs and a bit of a roller coaster ride. We've lived in 5 provinces and 11 cities and 28 homes over that period of time. We've raised 2 fine sons who've never seen their parents drink and hopefully will never have to. And we just live a good life based on working with others. What I know today, that whenever I face challenges, it tells me in the big book that when all else fails, work with another alcoholic. And that has made the difference in my life. So it's a pleasure to be here. It's a tremendous honor to be called for a name to be drawn. I'm sitting down there just hoping don't let it happen, but no control over that. So here I am, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. That was great. Now please help me welcome Kevin C. with 50 years from Brentwood Bay, British Columbia.
Would you like to come up here? Or you'll stay? Okay.
Thank you. My name is Kevin, and I'm an alcoholic. It's good to be here, and it's good to be sober. I'm a retread in Alcoholics Anonymous. I came in 1967.
Bring it up to your mouth.
I'm sorry, I'm that any clearer? I'm a retread. I came in 1967. when I enjoyed 2 years of pure, unadulterated, contented sobriety, in which I received a lot of blessings. But none of them was greater than the fact that my wife became pregnant with our 4th child, which was to be our AA baby, conceived and born in sobriety. Shortly after Debbie was born, I decided that I was smarter than the program, and I convinced myself that I could go out and drink sociably. I did that. It was one of the biggest lies I could possibly have told myself, for I learned in AA that alcoholism is a progressive illness, that over any extended period of time, it gets worse, never better. That's what I experienced. Within a week, I was drunker than I had ever been in my whole life. And I'd always planned that if things didn't work out, I could always come back. Another big lie that I told myself. For I was out there for 5 years, living in a hell of my own making. I conveniently forgot that for the alcoholic, sobriety is a precious gift from God and ought to be treasured. But I squandered mine, and for 5 years I lived with that terrible combination of a belly full of booze and a head full of AA. But thank God he works in mysterious ways. Our big book tells us that people as desperate as I was sometimes can recover if we've experienced something that resulted in a significant psychic change. I was blessed with such a change. When one morning, my 5-year-old daughter, that little AA baby, looked up at me and said, "Daddy, you're not going to come home drunk again tonight, are you?" I can assure you that tore the heart out of me. And every time I took a drink for the next couple of weeks, I heard that little voice over and over and over again. "Daddy, you're not going to come home drunk again tonight." Well, I can assure you, it did result in a significant psychic change. On the 7th of December, 1974, after pouring the first stiff drink of the day down my throat, I poured the second one down the sink. And I will go to my grave believing that I heard a voice inside that says, "Okay, Kevin, you've got it back. This time you will treat it as the precious gift that it is." That was a little over 50 years ago. And I can assure you, life has not been a bed of roses, but never once did I ever decide that one drink could make it better. AA has offered me a lot of blessings, and one of the most recent ones was a little more than 6 months ago, when my home group presented me with my 50-year medallion. There wasn't a dry eye in the house that day, mine included, when that little girl that looked up at her dad 50 years ago and says, "Daddy, you're not going to come home drunk again tonight, are you?" presented me with my 50-year medallion. God bless this God-inspired fellowship and program of Alcoholics Anonymous. God bless you all.
Thank you, Kevin. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Kevin. Next, we're going to hear from Mac Mick from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with 54 years. Mac? Oh. Mac Mick. Did we get Mac? Mac? Oh, it looks like Mark. Did we get to? Oh, no, we got Mac. No, we got Mac. Okay, yep, Mac. All right. Very good. Richard. Gotcha.
My name is Mac McCoy, and I'm an alcoholic. And I want to thank Bill Wilson, Dr. Bob, Ann, Lois, and their children, Sue, who hosted me for like 20 years at Loners. A wonderful, wonderful lady. A wonderful gift she gave to me and my family. And my wife of 59 years. My sobriety date is December the 23rd of 1970. When I came into AA, it was 1968, and I auditioned for AA for a year and a half. And my name was Get in the Car. Every night, get in the car. Every night, get in the car. No intermissions, no vacations, no holidays. Get in the car. I think they were fighting to see who was going to sponsor me and how sick I was. I think they were pretty sick, the three of them. They hung in there as I continued to drink and to find out that I really am a real alcoholic. And today, thanks to God and all of you make my heart sing with gratitude. Without you, there's no me. I don't have a job. I won't have anything to do. I'm retired and my wife kicks me out every morning at 6. She forgot that I retired. It is so, so wonderful. My home group is the Monroeville Friday Night Group in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I am also privileged to belong to the Canadian Vancouver AA U.S. meeting. We meet at 7 o'clock every morning, 365 days, and we don't have no commercials or breaks. I truly want to say to you all, thank you from the bottom of my heart, because if it wasn't for you, I would have passed away at age 26. And here I am at 83, hoping to make our 100th anniversary. And I really hope to see all of you there. Thank you very much for everything. Good night.
Thank you, Mac. Thank you. Oh, thank you. He's got nice pins if you want one after the meeting. So, thank you. Very good. Thank you, Mac. Please help me welcome Jim L. with 53 years from Vancouver, British Columbia.
My name is Jim, and I'm alcoholic. And it's just wonderful to see so many people in my hometown. Everywhere I go, I see these little medallions. It's just wonderful. To talk about 53 years of sobriety in 4 minutes. 4 years ago, I'm 88 years old, and I've had reasonably good health. I still play golf and so forth. And, yeah. 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with a high-grade lymphoma, and I was given 7 months to live. And it was during the heat dome, and it was during COVID. And I was so sick on this chemotherapy. And I took out the MAID, where you can get medically assisted dying. And a friend of mine who's non-alcoholic, but he knows how much I enjoyed my alcohol, he said to me, at the end of your life, Jim, if you take the MAID and you're with your family, will you have a glass of wine? Well, if I ever wrote a book, I used to work with addicts downtown, and if I ever wrote a book, it would be One Won't Hurt. And I thought to myself, well, maybe not, but what if I live? I would have to go through another year of that goddamn trying to sober up and all that stuff. And Jesus. So with a great deal of, just wonderful help from my AA friends and my wonderful wife, Irene. We've been together in AA now 47 years together. So now it's 4 years later, and this year my wife Irene had a terrible scare, and we thought she was, and I never thought I would be the one to outlive, because she's younger than I am, and I had to deal with all the ruminations that go through anybody's mind when you get into a situation like that. And I was so upset that I started watching Snow White movies on the Disney Channel, which is anything but go back drinking again. Anyway, it's been it's been a great road. I've got a lot of people to thank. I've got a higher power, and I also have what I call a guardian angel who's given me little thoughts that have saved me so many times. So thank you all for my sobriety. It's just been wonderful.
Thank you, Jim. Great. Thank you, Jim. Pleasure. Very good. Thank you, Jim. How cool is that in your hometown? That is great. How about another hometown? Tom T. from North Vancouver, BC. 50 years. You're up, Tom. Go get him.
There's a clock over
Okay. Good evening. My name's Tom, and I am an alcoholic. And wow, what a view you get from up here, I'll tell you. My sobriety date is January 31st, 1975. And my home group is Saturday Night Live at the Alano Club of the North Shore. And it's a small group of about 20 people, so this is a little bit a stretch on my comfort level, but that's okay. God does these things for reasons. Anyway, I came in actually the end of 74 and went to a detox and then a treatment center. And in the first 90 days, I did go out twice for one night each. The first time, I just wanted to go out, and the second time, basically, which was January 30th, 75, it was, I didn't like what somebody said in a meeting, so I went out to show them that they weren't right. So anyway, but what I did learn out there was very simply in that one night, I only ordered a couple of beers, and I realized that I didn't belong out there anymore. I didn't belong with those people. I understood that you were now my people. And the next morning, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I went back to a meeting at the treatment center, and basically have not found it necessary to have a drink since. And I have to owe that to a lot of different things. The God of my understanding, the people who have been in my life, and we kind of have a joke here in Vancouver, North Vancouver. You know, we're known as the class of 75, and we were all connected putting together an International Young Peoples in 79. And there you go. And basically, there's still about 15 or 16 of us that are still in the rooms today, and that's for me, and a lot of them, it comes back down to being of service, the activity, and, you know, continuing to, you know, do the right next thing, and, you know, try to carry this message. And we can all be good or bad examples of the big book, and hopefully I'm a good example. So, you know, anyway, life went on, and I basically, okay. Life went on, and, you know, in my life, I got married for the second time, stopped going to meetings because I'd rather be home with my ex-wife, and lo and behold, you know, I went about 6 to 7 years not going to meetings and learned how to become spiritually bankrupt. I was called a grumpy old man by my stepkids, and it wasn't a pleasant time of life. And lucky for me, I made it back to meetings without picking up a drink. And, you know, I was very fortunate in that because I might not have made it back here. But the bottom line is that I got back to meetings and continued to renew friendships and that with the people in Alcoholics Anonymous. And, you know, I did a list when I came in of what I kind of wanted out of life. And Alcoholics Anonymous has given me more and more than what I actually expected. And I owe it all to AA, and I have to look at you people and say thank you. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tom. Now please help me welcome Howard Kay from Washington, 51 years.
My name is Howard Kellogg, and I'm a very grateful alcoholic. My sobriety date is May 17th, 1974. My home group is Serenity Seekers in Steilacoom, Washington, and I'm here to tell you and guarantee you that's the best group in Steilacoom. I got sober in Oxfordshire, England. Anybody from England? I was 23 years old. I had only been drinking for about 5 years, from 18 to 23. I learned how to get in a lot of trouble in 5 years. I was a member of the United States Air Force. I am a proud veteran from Vietnam. The reason I got here was very simple. After 2 Articles 15, and then convicted of a court-martial for assaulting 4 security policemen, and I was a security policeman. My commanding officer said he was not happy they didn't kick me out. He said, I'm sending you to treatment, and when you come back and drink, and I know you will, then I can discharge you with an undesirable discharge administratively. He's still waiting. But I want to acknowledge the beautiful women in Alcoholics Anonymous, because you are the reason I'm here. In October of 1974, when I had just turned 24 a few months before that, my sponsor in AA, Ted Lynott from Banbury, England, called me up and said, we are going to go down to a little gathering. And he took me down to a place called Selsey Bill in the southern tip of England for a 3-day convention. At that time, that was the All England Wales Convention. And that convention had 1,200 people at it. And at that time, and they had a dance. They had a dance Saturday night, and I was 24, a few pounds lighter. And I got duded up. Double knit maroon slacks, pink shirt, white tie, white white shoes, and a white sports coat. And I danced the night away. And you taught me that I could have fun and stay sober. They threw the hook out, I bit, and they got me. And I'm still here, 51 years later. There have been ups, there's been downs, but one thing I know is that I've been here and you've been here to carry me along the way. Before I end, I want to acknowledge Henry, my sponsor. He's with me today. Larry, my sponsee's with me. Alex is somewhere out there. And Michael. These are people I know and love in Alcoholics Anonymous. All of you have contributed to my staying sober one more day. I love you. And by the way, thank you, Canada.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you so much, Howard. That was great. Now we'll hear from Bobby B. from Ardenville, Louisiana. Bobby B.
I'm Bobby. I'm an alcoholic. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all understand me? I was born Cajun, I'm gonna die Cajun. Where them Cajuns at? They're sitting back there somewhere. Wave at me. Andre, you famous, brother. I sobered up on May 17, 1974. Through no fault of my own. My wife was leaving me. We done been to the lawyer twice and the Catholic priest, but she was gone. One night she says, I'm going to meet some people. Could you babysit for me? I did. I thought she was going to one of them churches, you know, get one of them conversions done. The next week she asked me the same thing again. I said, oh no, now she's running around on me. I gotta go see what she's doing. I showed up at the first meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous on May 17, 1974, and it took. I never had to leave again. Now that marriage didn't work. It was gone before I got here. And two other ones didn't work either. So I decided I wasn't going to do that no more. But God's been good to me. And can I say that, God? You going to send the AA police after me? God's been good to me. You know, I don't know, I went through the deals. You know, I went to GSR, DCM, delegate to the General Service Conference, all of those things that we all get to do. My old friend George, sitting down there, used to be the manager. It's good to see you again, of the General Service Office. It's good to see a lot of old friends here. And we live in Ardenville. It's called Ardenville, but it's out in the country on the side of a lake. And we get to fish a lot. We got 6 bedrooms, 4.5 baths for me and Knife Debbie and the dog. So we got to do something with it. So we pick up drunks and we bring them home for weekends, 8, 10, 12 at a time, and take them through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous and feed them gumbo. Now, if you don't feed them, they ain't going to stay. So we feed them gumbo. And put a lot of crawfish in there from Montreal and shrimp. And we go through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, through the first 103 pages in our book. With all we need is the first 103 pages. Now, there's some other pages thrown in there by Bill. But I got sober doing that with some good sponsors back in. I was 1979, 78, 79. I was going nuts, mostly because of women. I like mood-altering women back then, and what was it? I was having trouble with my wife at the time. Called the old boy up from Baytown, Texas. I said, Joe, I need a sponsor. He said, well, the only way I'll sponsor you is if you do what I ask you to do, and if you're not willing to do that, you can haul your coon ass back to Lafayette and keep doing what you've been doing. I said, yes, sir, I'll do whatever you need. And that changed my life. And I started working with drunks directly after that. And if you ain't working with drunks, you're wasting your time here. Find you an old drunk and sit him down and feed him and take him through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. I got 29 seconds left. That's enough to tell you all that it's good to be here. Debbie, wave your hand so I know where you're at, because I'm going to get lost when I get off of this thing. She ain't waving her hand. Where you at? Well, I guess I'm lost. It's been a good weekend. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. It was great. Thank you, Bobby. Now please help me welcome Gene S. with 52 years from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, my home state.
Hi, my name is Jean, and I'm here from Sandwich, Cape Cod, Massachusetts. This is so amazing, this hall, this meeting. There is such power and grace and love and magic here. And it's something that we have all been so privileged to have in our lives from this amazing program. When I got here, I was broken. I had no hope in my life. I had lost my mind because of this disease that had taken my mind away for the last few years of my drinking. I got here in '72. Actually, I'll be sober 53 years next month. Thank you. I'll be sober in the month of August, but I can't tell you what day because I had no intention of staying sober. I got here and people were so kind to me. They put up with me. I was a brat. I was a 26-year-old brat, and I made all kinds of trouble, and I raised all kinds of hell, and I still do sometimes. I'm so blessed. I have 2 children in this program. They're here with me tonight. My daughter, my son. We have one more of my son that's out there, so please say a prayer for him. When I got here, the people in my first group, I think it was my first week of AA, I didn't know they would be my group, but they became my group because they said, why don't you join us, come back next week, follow us throughout the week wherever we go. But they said, come back and be with us. In fact, they said, come along with us. And no one had said that to me in a very long time. People mostly had said, please go away, or get the hell out of here is really what they said. But in fact, all my friends had ditched me. They were friends from childhood. I had no family here. My family was all in Russia, behind the Iron Curtain, except for my mother. My father had died from this disease. But when I got here, you people became my family. You brought me up. You loved me when I could not love myself. And I can never thank you enough. Love you all. I just feel, I can feel the love in this room. And there was a time that I was unable to stay in the condominium that I was renting on the Cape, and I had to leave it because of my allergies, and I was so terrified. And my son, I went up to his house in Vermont, and I was looking for a house to buy. It was difficult. I would drive back and forth. But I went to my group, my Sunday morning group in Sandwich, and I spoke there one morning. I could feel the love coming at me. I feel that tonight. We have a blessed program. We have a blessed community. You've been there for me through thick and thin. My higher power has been there for me. He's gotten me out of so many gyms, I can't even count them all. And I owe you all my life. And I thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. Thank you so much, Gene. Now our final speaker tonight will be Jerome S., with 52 years from Corona, California.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jerome, and I'm a very grateful and fortunate member of Alcoholics Anonymous. My sobriety date is June 6, 1973. And I'm an alcoholic of the hopeless variety, whose claim to fame he wasn't going to stop drinking wine until they stopped crushing grapes. And I assure you, there was not a grape in a drop of wine I drank. I was tore up from the floor up. And it's an honor and a privilege to be here, and I'm awesome, an awesome opportunity. You know, if I was going to talk about anything tonight, I think I'd talk about Dr. Silkworth. Because when he said, strange as it may seem to those that don't understand, that once a psychic change has occurred, the very same person who seemed doomed, that he had so many problems, he despaired of ever solving them, suddenly finds himself able to control his desire for alcohol. The only thing required is he follow a few simple rules. But he didn't tell you the rules. So I'm going to give credit for where credit is due. My good friend, who is now deceased from San Diego, Peter F., he outlined the rules. There are 6 essential rules. If you follow, you are guaranteed on that condition to stay sober 52 years, just like me. The first rule is you have to have a sobriety date. That date is non-negotiable. Nothing is equal or above that date. Because if anything is equal above that date, you can claim your sobriety. The next thing, you need a home group. A home group is where I learned to practice love and service. My home group is the Bellflower Big Book Group. And I would be remiss not to mention 9604 South Figueroa. And out of my home group, I have a sponsor. And my sponsor took me through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I'll be forever grateful for those 2 men, because I only had 2 sponsors. And they would share with me in this way. My first sponsor, Jack, would say, Jerome, there's a mystic power in the universe that can so radically change your life, your family and friends will hardly be able to recognize you when it is through with you. In fact, you won't be able to recognize yourself. This mystic power can put you in your right place in life, a place that goes somewhere with purpose, meaning, and dignity. And it's your divine birthright to tap into that power. And my other sponsor says, everything, not some of the things, everything good and decent in my life today is directly the God I found in Alcoholics Anonymous. And the 5th rule is the 12th step. There's no other activity that will immune me from drinking as intense work with another alcoholic. And I didn't think I could get the 6th rule because, see, I'm different. Life just was not going to line up for me this way. But through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, I get the 6th rule. I get to insist on enjoying life. avoiding the deliberate manufacture of misery, facing life on life's terms, not ducking or dodging any of life's issues, walking in my own personal brand of dignity, not making any excuse for my existence, having healthy, wholesome fun a day at a time. And can't you tell? I'm having some fun here in Canada and Vancouver. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jerome. Pleasure. Thank you. Let's give a big round of applause to all our old timers here. One more. Woo! How about a big round of applause to my wife Cheryl, my assistant Pamela, thank you. Okay, let's close the meeting in the fashion in which we began, with the responsibility statement. Okay, we're going to close the meeting. We're going to close the meeting in the fashion in which we began, with the responsibility statement. I am responsible when anyone, anywhere, reaches out for help. I want the hand of AA always to be there, and for that, I am responsible. So yeah.